Hello, praise the Lord. Welcome to Marian Kinya Official, and thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for the subscribers. Thank you so much for every support that I'm getting from whoever that is listening to Marian Kinya Official. Thank you so much for that support. So on today's video, we are still talking about intimacy. Yesterday I shared a video about what is intimacy. So if you haven't listened to that video, please consider going listen to that video, then come back here as we talk about something else that has to do with intimacy. So I said on today's video we are going to talk about the aspect in a human being or in a person that has something to do or that's related with intimacy. Remember that we agreed that intimacy is not just physical, so we need to get to understand intimacy in the four aspects in a person's life. And which are these four aspects in your life? It's the physical, the emotional, the intellectual, and the spiritual. So we need to discuss those four aspects and how intimacy is coming in the life of a person in those four aspects in a person. So intimacy is not just about physical, nor is it only about emotional. No, intimacy is a multidimensional being. Yes, it's more than being physical and emotional. There has to be intellectual intimacy and also the spiritual intimacy. So let's talk about all the four aspects of a person and how intimacy comes in. So the first one is the physical intimacy. The physical intimacy, it starts with the handshake, a smile, a hug. Physical intimacy is highly recognized, but of course you need to realize that physical intimacy is limited. So it is important to note that all our relationships have the physical intimacy. Yes, all our relationship entails the physical intimacy. They have a bit part of the physical intimacy. So the second one is the emotional intimacy. Yes, now the emotional intimacy, it is built through the observation. That is observation by self and observation by others. Yes, for example, if it's observation by self, a person is so much concerned on what people are thinking about you, on what people are just thinking about your life, what people are going to think about whatever way that you are doing. That is the observation by self. And observation by others happens when you use your ears, your mind, your hearts, trying to get to understand what do people think about you. Are they comfortable being around you? What are people thinking in whatever that you are doing? What are they taking whatever that you are doing? That is observation by others. Now that is the emotional intimacy, but of course it is good to know that the intimacy takes time. It takes time to be reviewed and it takes time to be established. So the next one is the intellectual intimacy. Intellectual intimacy requires a variety of experiences, and it can also be built through conversation. So an intellectual intimacy cannot just appear at once. It cannot just appear immediately, but it has to be built through a variety of observations, or no, not observations, experiences through the conversation. For example, the people who have similar views when it comes to things of life, they are likely to have faster intellectual intimacy compared to the people that have different views or different views when it comes to a certain thing. But that doesn't mean that you need to have the similar view in a person for you to make a vibrant relationship. No, not necessarily so. So even when you have different opinions, can still make a successful relationship. So what you need to understand is that the intellectual intimacy requires to be built in a non-judgmental environment, and an environment where you come to realize that I may not always be right and he or she may not always be wrong. So once that one is clear to you, it becomes so easy now to to just flow very well with the intellectual intimacy. Something else is that the biggest challenge that we have when it comes to intellectual intimacy is that we judge people more often depending on the ideas that they give towards anything. We kind of end up judging people so fast, but the secret should be, instead of judging people with the ideas they give, it is good that we get to realize what is making them to believe that such an idea is good or such an idea is beautiful. So the secret is not about getting to know or judging people with the idea that they make. It is getting to understand what has made them to believe that the idea they are making, it is good or it is a beautiful idea. So it is good that we get to know that intellectual intimacy, it is more than knowing the things that the person believes in or the person does. It is beyond that. It is the intellectual intimacy is about knowing how a person thinks, how a person does things, and this one will make you to understand what drives the person, what motivates the person, what inspires the person to do a certain idea or opinion. That is intellectual intimacy. So if you want to have a high level of intellectual intimacy with a person, it is good you get to understand the how. Why do they have to do this? How do they think? What inspires them? What drives them? That one is going to enable you to have a good intellectual intimacy, even though it will have to take time to be built. And the last one is the spiritual intimacy. Yes, the spiritual intimacy is the most rewarding form of intimacy, but also it is the hardest to achieve. But if it is so clear to you, it can be so easy for you to understand the spiritual intimacy. The spiritual intimacy starts with it begins with respecting each other. Once you have the respect of the other person, that is the beginning of the spiritual intimacy. Something else is that the spiritual intimacy stands for you are here to become the best version of yourself. Yes, for you to have a strong spiritual intimacy, you must be having the mind or understanding that the person that comes in your life, they are there to become the best version of their life, because the first and the main purpose of every relationship is making the other person to become the best version of themselves. That is why before you start a relationship with a person, it is good to ask yourself, what am I going to give this person? Am I going to benefit this person? Am I going to add anything in their life? It's not about what I am going to receive. It is about what I am going to give. Because the purpose of every relationship is to make each other the best version of themselves. And that one is the foundation of every spiritual intimacy. So spiritual intimacy needs to be approached with an open-minded situation, so that you will be in a place where you are psychologically prepared that the aim is to make each other the best version of themselves. So it is good that you ensure that the spiritual intimacy is on top, because once the spiritual intimacy succeeds, you will come to realize that your emotional, your physical, and the intellectual intimacy will also be heightened. Yes, but also there is also this another abuse of the spiritual intimacy, where someone make themselves or more spiritual or more religious, which is going to affect their other aspects of life. Because once you or make yourself, is it to make yourself, or you just have to be more spiritual and forget that you have the physical, the intellectual, and the emotional aspect of yourself that you need to have, and that is where the balance comes in. Once you do that, it's going to make you to have a distortion of character, and all of them are very important in your life. So it is good that you cultivate the four aspect, so that you can ensure that you're becoming productive in your life and also productive in your relationship. Once that one is so clear to you, then it becomes so easy to just become productive in your life, and also ensure that intimacy is really growing in your relationship. Yeah, because I have said the physical intimacy is limited, but the emotional, the intellectual, and the spiritual intimacy are limitless. And all of them, they have to go hand in hand. So you cannot neglect one, or you cannot just value one and neglect the other. There must be balance in all of them, because we said intimacy is about the sharing the journey of becoming the best version of each other. So you must challenge one another to become the better person they are. You must ensure that the person that comes in your life, they are becoming the best version. Even you yourself, you need to work on your 4 aspects of your life so that you can become the best version of yourself. Ensure that your spiritual, your emotional, your intellectual, and your physical intimacy is top notch. Yes, it is on the best place. It might not be on optimum, but at least it's in a position that it's worthy giving out something that can help another person. So please note that intimacy cannot be lashed. So it's not something that you can just lash or hurry up to achieve it. It can only be realized by the commitment of time. So it is also good to be patient with yourself and patient with others, and with the time the intimacy will be built, intimacy will be realized. I have talked too much, but that's the 4 aspects of inner person that's related to the intimacy that requires intimacy. Again, it's not only about physical. You have heard there are 3 other aspects in a person that requires intimacy. That is it for today. That is my today's message about intimacy. Please keep watching Marian Kenya Official for the next video about intimacy that is going to bless you, that is going to transform your life. Please remember this month, our theme verse, is it theme verse? No. Our theme is making a difference in our lives and in the life of the other person. That is it for today, guys. Please subscribe to Marian Kenya Official, like, share, and comment every message that I'm sharing here with your friends, with your family, with everybody that you come across. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.